Okay, so example number 3. We're going to finish up the last example on our note sheet from last Wednesday using the MA method to factor. This looks just like the opener that we completed today. We're going to follow the exact same steps.
Thank you.
The first step says to determine your M and determine your A. So I'm going to put my M here and my A right underneath it. Danielle, how do I determine my M? Don't freeze, look at your notes. By. And you're going to multiply those together. So you're going to take 4 times 2, and that equals, okay. David, how do you find your A? Okay, which is?
9G.
Okay, so this is where you're going to use your blue factor sheet. I need you paying attention. So, use your blue factor sheet. The M is 8, so you find 8 on your factor sheet. Which of those numbers can you now add together to get 9?
1 and 8.
1 and 8. So that was step 2. You just found your MA. Step 3. Raise your hand if you can tell me what step 3 is. Daisha?
Write the answers in each of the boxes using the numbers from step 2.
Okay, and where does the numbers from step 2 go?
1 goes on the top, and 8 on the bottom.
And what variable goes with those?
G.
Okay, and then it said we had to write in the rest of our areas. So Alex, what area goes on my top left here? No, what goes right here?
6.
What's my first area? What's my first number?
4.
4 what?
G.
Okay, now remember this 8G and 1G, because they're like terms 8G plus 1G, that's my second, because that second term is split between the third.
So the other one's going to be 2, right?
Correct. Nice.
I mean, just easy, but okay. I wasn't there.
Okay. So now we're ready to start step 4. Kaylon, what's step 4 say to do?
Factor the top row. Factor the top row of, what is that? 3. Man, it's just a habit.
That's her.
I can send the first one.
So you're going to factor the top row using the GCF. So look at your 4 and 1. What's the largest number that both 4 and 1 share? 1. And what variable do they both share?
G.
So there's your height. So as you learned a couple weeks ago, when you find the greatest common factor, that becomes the height. So now I know the height, I know the total area, so I'm ready to find the width. So AJ, 1G times what will get me to 4G squared? So 4G, good. So if that's the width of this first rectangle, my top rectangle, it's also going to be the width of the rectangle directly underneath it. Where do I write my width? First or second?
Second.
Okay. So now I'm ready to find the width of my top row here. 1G times what gives me to 1G? 1. So if my width is 1, I know it's going to be brought back down, and the bottom width is going to be 1. Okay? So then from here, what's the last, one of the last steps I need to determine?
The height, the width.
Yeah, no, you're right, the height of my bottom row. So what's the height of my bottom row going to be?
The first one will be 2.
Okay, so if the first one is 2, the second one also has to be 2. If it's not, then we messed up somewhere. So if I plug that in, will that work for the first one? Well, 2 times 4G is 8. Good. If I plug in 2 for the height for my second one, will that work? Yeah, so my height is in fact. Okay. Now I'm not quite done yet, because now I have to write my answer out. Jaden.
1G.
You want Alex to answer it for you? Okay, go ahead.
No, you said it.
You started.
1G plus 2, right?
Yeah. And we're going to put parentheses around it because it's width, height times my width. What's my width?
Circle. Probably, yes.
Circle. We know circle our final answers. Box it. Good.